Okay everyone, I am going to show you how to replace the screen on your Jeep UConnect when it has started doing this. We have a 2018 Jeep Compass, and after about 5.5 years, the radio all of a sudden started just showing white lines. When it's cold, it would work, but then as soon as it started warming up, the white lines would show up, and we can't really do anything with the radio. Radio still works, and you can interact with it. You just can't see anything. So you can get a replacement screen on eBay for about $100 right now, and I'll show you what to search for once we get the screen out here. But basically, it's actually a pretty simple process, just taking a few things apart, and you'll be able to get there. So first thing you want to do is remove the plastic bezel here. There's not really a great way to do it, and I honestly felt like I was going to break the plastic trying to pry it out. But I'll show you where the tabs are, so that way you can kind of know where to put your pry tool. But basically, you'll put a pry tool between the plastic here, and you'll just kind of pry it out until the little plastic tabs snap out. I already did it, so I'm just going to pull this out, and again, I'll show you here where those plastic tabs are. So basically, there's a whole bunch, 4 across the top, 2 on the inside there by the radio on each side, 3 across the bottom, and then there's 1 on the outside of both sides. Like I said, I really thought I was going to break it, but if you pry directly at those spots, you'll probably be okay. Again, you can see them one here, 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 here. There's here and here, 3 across the bottom, and then 1 on the outside on both sides. After that, there will be 4 Torx screws. I already, again, took those out just to show everybody. But there's 4 of those. There's 2 on this side here and here, and then 2 on this side here and here. And then the radio just slides right out. Oh, hey, look, it started working. You can see the white lines are still there. So, pull this out. I'm going to turn the car off now. Once you pull it out, there's 4 connections you remove. This one is just like a little pry bar. So you just grab this, pry it up, and it'll actually just kind of pull out. That's the big one. The rest of them are just little push tab connections. I'm going to pause this here so I can disconnect those. Okay, once you have all the connections out, we'll go ahead and take this inside and take the radio apart to get to the screen. Okay, so we're going to continue here. You will need a T9 bit to remove these. So basically, there's several screws on the outside we need to remove first. So there's one here, here, here. We got 2 on the top here, as well as 2 on the side here and here. There's 2 on the back here and here, 2 right here and here you need to remove. And then also there are 2 right here and right here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all those. These ones are longer, so just kind of keep that in mind, keep those separate. Oh, there's also one right here you'll want to remove. all of these are the same, so you don't have to worry about keeping those separate. It's just those 4 on the back that are different. Okay, now this should just kind of slide right up and out. The fan might get stuck with these little rubber things. They'll be in these holes here. I can show you again, sort of these rubber things. They might be stuck. You just got to kind of push them out. But that should kind of pop right off. This black thing is actually separate, so if that falls out, don't be afraid to just slide it right back in there, but it's kind of wedged in there. Okay, next, disconnect the fan. After that, you got some more screws, so there's one right here. Take that one out, and there's one over here on the opposite side. And these are also the same, but I like to keep them separate, so I'll keep all of these separate here, and then I'll put my other ones up here, just so that way I know how many screws each layer has here. Okay, then you should be able to kind of wiggle this off. It's connected right here with this connector, so you just got to kind of wiggle it to pop it off. Be a little more careful than I just was. Okay. Next, there's a couple more screws. So there's these black ones you see. So there's 2 here, and then there's 2 here. So we'll remove all 4 of those. These all use the same bit size, so, but these are different, so you'll want to keep them separate. I had it. Okay. So now this part should pop off. Again, this also has a connector. Let me see if I can see it. Oh, I forgot a screw actually. There's another screw right here in the middle. You got to make sure you remove. That should just fall right out. Okay. Either way, once you get that one out, this should just kind of pop right off. Again, there's also a connector for this one, so you gotta just kind of wiggle it off here. Let me see if I can show you. Here. So right there's that connector. You see I'm kind of separating it here. There, like that. Okay, so that is separate now. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. So from here, these are the 2 cables we're going to replace. Well, we're going to disconnect because those are attached to the screen. To disconnect these, you just flip up the little black part, and then the cable just kind of comes right out. Do the same on both sides. Just be careful, they're plastic, thin plastic too. So both of those are out of the way, so this whole metal thing should kind of just come up and out, but you got to be careful because these ribbon tabs, they have like a hard plastic piece. It's kind of like a little handle on them, so you want to make sure you kind of feed those down through the metal frame, and then also the plastic frame underneath, like that. Okay, and now we are to the screen. Okay, so there's the screen. This is what we're going to replace. Here's the model number you want to search for, this TDO WXGA number. Okay, that one apparently has the same model number, and I'll show you my new screen here. So here's our new screen. So when I searched for that model number, it came up with this one as being the same, basically a cross-reference number. So here's the new screen. This one is TDO WXGA, and then it ends with 57V1, whereas the other one was 33V2. They should both work the same. They both have the same connectors, so you should be all set there. Okay, there's our new screen. Hopefully it works. So I'm gonna set that aside for now. So this is actually kind of glued in here. So around the edge here, you can kind of see it's glued in there pretty well. So I'm probably just going to use a utility knife to cut the glue, and then I'll probably have to clean it up a little bit. And then we'll see what happens there. But yeah, you'll just have to kind of cut the glue. You don't really have to be too careful because obviously the screen's broken, so we're going to replace that. But you know, just be careful with the frame. You don't want to break anything there. But I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to start working on that. Okay, so I'm going to resume the video here. So what I did was I just took a utility knife, started cutting down the side, and then I basically just came around here and from the front just kind of pushed it out until it popped out. The glue's kind of soft, so it wasn't too bad to get out. But basically what I'm going to have to do now that this is out, is just go back and clean up all this glue that's in here. So I'll pause the video again while I do that. But yeah, you'll have to just kind of pull all this stuff out of the way so that way you can get the new screen in there without a problem. Okay, it is all cleaned up and ready for the new screen. You want to make sure that you get the glue out of these little notches here. It actually came off pretty easily. I just took the utility knife, kind of wedged it between the glue and the plastic, and then it just kind of pried away. So a couple things with the new screen. Number one, you're going to want to make sure you remove the screen protector if there is one. There is one on this one, so I'm going to remove that. I started it already. You want to be very careful though, because there is, like, the screen protector is kind of like attached to the top layer of glass. So there's a couple layers of glass on this. You just want to make sure you don't remove the entire, digitizer. So you want to remove that, and then, just keep it clean. And then you want to make sure you are putting this in right side up, not upside down. So basically the spot here with the notch in the middle, that goes on top, okay? And then the screen will kind of sit down in here like this. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of hold it here. Okay. And the screen doesn't really move in there, so we're kind of good. And then we are ready for the adhesive, or the silicone. I'm actually not using adhesive. I'm just going to flip it over here, take a look. Looks pretty good. I'm actually just going to use some silicone caulk that I already have. I would definitely recommend not using super glue or Gorilla Glue or anything like that. Use something that can remain flexible, because this is going to expand as it heats up. So, and I'm probably not going to put as much as they had, just because there's not really a reason for that much. So I'll just kind of put it in here, and then I'll smooth it out once I'm done here, but just a little bit. Some shaky hands. Yeah, I think there's more just to kind of keep it from rattling around in here, because it's already in there pretty good, and you're going to kind of be putting everything else on top of it. It also is probably to help just keep dust out. So, okay, I'm just going to go behind and smooth this out. Make it look halfway decent. Get the extra off that I put on there. Okay. So that's all ready to go. Maybe I'll add just a tiny more right here just because I see some holes. Again, a little handheld bottle or container would probably be more than enough. You don't really need a whole lot. It's just big caulk gun's all I had. So, okay, that's in there. Looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and peel these pieces of tape off. Be very careful with your new ribbon cables. You don't want to break them. Okay. Alright, and then assembly is essentially the opposite of the disassembly here. So, I will walk you through that right now. First, we will take our plastic frame. Here. Okay, so this one, it's kind of got everything here. It's got these flaps, one right here and one right there. That's where you're going to want to feed the new cables. So we'll go ahead and get these fed through. Again, it's kind of a little bit of a game with the cables. I'm just going to turn this around so I can get a better view of this cable. So again, you're just kind of feeding these through the slots. Okay. So then you just feed these in here. So you want to kind of put the end in first, and then it kind of sits down, and then you want to make sure those little tabs, see if I can zoom in on that. So those little tabs on the plastic ribbon cable, you want to make sure both of those are inside these little white notches on both sides, okay, before you snap the black clip down. Alright, so go ahead and snap the black clip down, and then we'll do the same thing for this one. Again, same deal, you want to put the top end first, okay, and then make sure the tabs are on the inside of the little white notches, and then you just snap that down. Okay. That is all we have for that layer. Next is putting this on. Zoom back out here. Okay, so we just want to make sure we line up the pins. Don't want to bend any of those, so just be careful with everything. Just make sure you're taking your time, you're not rushing it. But basically, you're just going to line up the pins. That's the easiest way to get this on. Once you get them lined up, you can then push it down. And then you just kind of want to get everything else lined up here. I still got that screw in there I should have taken out, but that's okay. Okay. Again, just take your time. You shouldn't have to really force anything. So, okay. And then go ahead and put the 5 black screws back in. So there's one here in the middle, which never fully came out. And then there's 4 on the outsides. There's one right here. And then one on this side. And then one here. And then one right here. Okay. Next will be the next board. Again, we just want to line up these pins, make sure everything's good before we press it down. That one's a little harder to bend the pins, so, but still, just take your time, be careful. Okay, so for this, there's a whole bunch of holes because some of the screw holes are what we took out of the top here. So if I put this on here, you can see, you know, we got this hole here, we got the one over here, we got these 2 here. So those obviously we don't want to put screws in. Right, so not this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one. But we did take 2 screws out of here, and those are the 2 up top. So, put those back in. Okay. Next, we want to put our fan back in. There's, just because of the way the cable goes, there's not really different ways to put this. Essentially just make sure you're not stretching the cable or anything like that, and it'll make perfect sense on how it's supposed to go. Okay, so just like that. Alright, and then last but not least is this. Again, kind of the same deal. You know, you got all these holes here in this plastic piece. Just want to make sure you keep everything lined up nice and neat so that way you don't bend any of those metal pins. Otherwise, you'll not have a good time. Alright, and then it's just a whole lot of putting screws back in. Remember, there's the 4 longer ones. Those go around the big black connector, and then also over here. That's where those 4 go. So we'll do all of these. And remember on the top here, in addition to the 2 that go into the plastic frame, there are 2 that go into the side of the metal here. So just make sure you get those. Just like that. Alright, and then the 4 on top here. Oops, sorry. You don't have to make these overly tight, just as long as they're snug. They're not really gonna go anywhere, so don't over tighten them. Especially since most of them are just being screwed into plastic. You don't want to strip out the plastic. Okay, and that's it. There's our new screen. Let's go test it out. Okay, so I got most of the cables back on. Those are just push connectors. I did want to show you the big connector here. So essentially you just kind of put it in there a little bit, and then you push this down and it kind of pushes it, pulls it in the rest of the way, and then lock it into place. Okay, so we can put this back in here. And moment of truth, let's see what we got. It looks pretty good. I think the only thing I don't really like is that white line at the top. I'm gonna have to see if we might not see that once we get the plastic in, but let's pause this and take a look. Okay, I got the all 4 screws in here, so those are ready to go. Again, there's that white line. I don't remember seeing something like that on the old screen. I'm guessing it's just like the edge of the digitizer on the new screen here. But I think the bezel here will cover all that up just fine. Yeah, well, you can't even see it. So, looks good. Pretty happy with that. And hopefully now we won't have any white lines for a while. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks.